Hello, humans. My name is Sarah Varghese, and this is Martha the T-Rex. She is my mascot. She's my little friend, but she's also the visual representation of my business, which is She-Rex Marketing. She-Rex as in T-Rex. Get it? I am your visibility coach, and I am doing all things visibility, including how to show up on social media, which is what we're talking about today. Today, we're talking about Instagram, and I'm going to teach you the anatomy of Instagram. So I'm going to break it into pieces and parts and give analogies along the way so that it's easier to understand. So I want you to think about Instagram as upstairs and downstairs. And the downstairs is your photos, your carousels, and your reels. That's in your downstairs. And the downstairs is like the storefront. So think about a quaint little downtown area. I'm going to say like Westerville, Ohio has a cute little uptown area that is just cute. There's like lots of antique stores and little boutique clothing stores, and that's all downstairs. But upstairs, there's actually people living in apartments upstairs. So let's pretend that the owner of the store also lives upstairs above the store, because back in the day, like long time ago, not quite the dinosaur age, but a long time ago, that's how people did it. People lived above their storefronts. So let's pretend we're back in that time period, and the people who are working the store downstairs live upstairs. And the downstairs is very on brand. Everything is speaking to a very particular type of audience. They are marketing to a group of people that they're like, do you like this? Ooh, we carry this. Oh, are you interested in this kind of information? Yeah, you can come talk to us about this. And everybody downstairs talks the same language to the same kind of people. Everything is on brand. But once you start to get to know the owner's like, hey, why don't you come up for coffee? Hey, we're having game night. Do you want to come up? And then you get to go upstairs. And upstairs is in your stories. And in your stories, it's where people are more relaxed. Not everything's on brand. The house isn't always clean. You are talking about life upstairs. So similarly, in Instagram, everything downstairs, your carousels, your reels, your pictures, those are all things that are on brand. Those are all things that are talking to one type of audience. Those are all things that are talking about your business. And then upstairs in the stories, you can talk about pretty much anything. Now, anything? Maybe not anything. You still want to be aware that the people that are watching your stories are still potential clients. Get me? Right? But you can talk about what you ate. I talk about when I go for walks or when I exercise. I talk about that in my stories. I will not talk about that downstairs because that doesn't have anything to do with my business. That doesn't have anything to do with what my service is. But I can talk about that upstairs in my stories because I want people to know me as a person, not just me as a business owner. Downstairs, I only want them to know me as a business owner. Okay. So, for example, if you are a hair and makeup artist and downstairs, you're only showing who your clients are and before and afters, and you're showing the products that you're using, and you're talking about how to clean your face and how to do your hair and all of those things, that's appropriate to be downstairs. Can you do those upstairs? Yes, you can still do those upstairs. But upstairs, you're going to show, oh, our family did this. Our family went on this kind of vacation. We are going to this conference, and I'm getting together with my girlfriends, and we're going to this restaurant, and we're doing all of these other things because the people who are going to do business with you, if they see that you like a certain show and you're talking about like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm watching this show. Who else is watching this? People who are watching the same show as you, and they've been following your content, and they're like, oh, I need a hair and makeup artist for my upcoming event. Oh, she likes the show too. I love that show. Or I've been wanting to watch that show. I'm going to see if she likes it too. And they're getting to know you as a person. They're more likely to want to do business with you as a business, because people want to know who they work with. They want to know they can relate to you. And if they don't think they can relate to you, then you just look like everybody else. And then they're coming to you because you look like you're the cheapest. Let's talk about Reels. Now, I will say Instagram recently changed a little bit, and they are allowing people to go back to posting normal pictures and not just Reels all the time. For a long time, they were heavy on their video. They only wanted video. And then they're like, okay, well, we've done our research and we've decided that people still want pictures and we still want to be the place for pictures. And so now they're swinging back in the other direction, which, by the way, time out. They are allowed to do that. You are not paying for anything on social media right now. This is a free platform for you to use. This is not your company. So I like to think that there are little minions behind the scenes actually going, ooh, what does this do? Let's change it. Oh, that changes that. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see what happens if I push this button. Bing. Ooh, that's fun too. And then anybody who's willing to buy into whatever the minions are doing, the minions are like, they're doing it. And they get really excited and then they give you bonus points for it because that's kind of how it works anyways. I obviously know they're not actual minions, but when you picture minions doing it, it's a lot more enjoyable. You're like, oh, look, the minions are trying something new. Nah, let's humor them and try it and let them know that we do see what they're doing and we try to pay attention to it. But if you are sick of doing Reels, you can kind of go back to doing a little bit more pictures as long as your content is good. As long as you are putting out good written content that is relevant to what you do, you're fine. So do your Reels, do your other stuff, but let me tell you why Reels were so important for such a long time. Reel as in movie reel, yes, but reel as in fishing reel. So you're in the middle of the ocean with thousands of people, more than that, on Instagram, and you were trying to catch people's attention outside of your circle and outside of your circle. You want to try to catch as many fish as you can. So you do a video that is trending music, that is good content, that is speaking to an audience that might be looking for you, and you cast it out into the ocean. And then anybody who sees it could potentially come back and want to follow you. Pictures don't necessarily have the same effect because they have to show up in your For You page, right? And in your discovery page, they have to show up there. But Reels, because there's a Reels tab and you can just flip through it, can show up to anybody, which is why Reels was so important. But now that they're switching back, you can do a little bit of both and still get away with it. I think carousels are the better ones to use because people will flip through. I also love video though. And in the long run, you're going to get a better bang for your buck if you are investing in your videos. But feed is where you're capturing their attention. They like you. They go upstairs to your stories. They get to know who you are through your stories. That's also where the conversations happen, is when you're doing everyday life and you're just asking them, hey, what was your favorite TV show that you just watched? That's just getting them to interact with you in a way that normally they wouldn't. And the more they interact with you, the more they're probably going to interact with you downstairs too, because they see you as a person and not just a robot running a business. One more thing, highlights. Highlights are, I like to say highlights are like the Cliff Notes. Do you guys remember what Cliff Notes are? I don't know if the younger generations knows what Cliff Notes are. But before the internet, I know I made you myself. Before the internet, we had these tiny little books that were Cliff Notes. That's what they were actually called. And they were summaries of whatever book we were supposed to be reading in school. So Wuthering Heights had a Cliff Notes book, and it was a summary of that book. Do they still exist? Does anybody know that they still exist? I don't know. But the highlights are the little circles. They are a place for you to catalog the things that you've done in your stories. Because remember, your stories disappear after 24 hours, right? But if you want to keep it because it's an important part of what you do, or it's an important topic that you talk about all the time, then you collect them in your highlights. And that way, anybody who's coming to your page for the first time, if you're talking about something upstairs and they're like, hey, what are you talking about? I don't know what this is. You're like, oh, actually go down to my highlight. It's called this. And then they can watch everything and get caught up so that any new people that are coming upstairs for their first time don't feel left out. That's why we have highlights. What other questions do you have about Instagram? Can you comment on this video and tell me what other questions you have so that I can answer that in another video upcoming? Okay, so every video has a lesson and a heart to heart. So this is now the heart to heart. I need to talk to you about making friends with fear. It sounds weird, doesn't it? Like, why would I make friends with fear? I hate fear. I don't want fear in my life. And I hear you. I hear you and I see you, but you have to understand that fear is always with us. I don't think people ever become fearless. I think they have good strategies on knowing how to deal with fear because fear never goes away. Ask yourself, because fear usually comes into your life when your inner dialogue is afraid of change. I've gotten used to this though. I don't want to do something new. The change is bad. Change will make me change. And you don't want to do change because change feels hard. And so your inner dialogue will lie to you to keep you small, to keep you safe. And instead, what you need to do is you need to ask yourself, why am I flipping out over this? Why do I feel anxious about this? You know why you are afraid of something. You know why you're trying to keep yourself small. The question is, can you dig deep enough and be truthful with yourself to answer that question? In my book, The Yellow Brick Road to Self-Discovery, which, yes, is as fun as it looks like it is. In this book, in chapter 4, I talk about the power of self-talk, because you have two voices in your head. You have the negative, which you're probably already familiar with, but do you know that you also have the positive? You have two voices, and the negative is your fear talking. Your negative is always going to try to keep you small because it's trying to keep you away from change. But that's not always what's best for you. It's okay. It's okay to be afraid. It's just not okay to stay there. Get used to having fear in your life. Get used to asking hard questions. Why are you here? What are you trying to protect me from? Listen to your body. Listen to what your mind tells you back. Get really quiet and listen. And then once you hear the answer, make a choice. Because you have the choice to override your fear. It's not easy in the beginning, but it is possible. And the more you decide that you're not going to be fearful, that fear can ride in the back of the truck. You're driving, fear can be in the way back, but you don't need it right now. Because there are times that you should be fearful, right? There are legit times that fear actually protects you from doing things that could really harm you. But most of your business decisions are not going to harm you. Most of your business decisions just are doing things that fear is like, I don't know about this. We might get hurt or die. You're not going to die from it. It's not going to kill you. And if you need help, that's why I'm here. I am the visibility coach. I am here to help you figure out how to overcome the negative voices by knowing how to talk back to them. I also teach you tactics and strategies, and I handhold you through a 6-month program so that I can transform you into a T-Rex. Like that's honestly my goal. My goal is to transform you into a T-Rex, because Everywhere around the world, everyone knows who and what a T-Rex is. And don't you want the same for your business? And that's what I do for you. And it's so fun because I get to watch businesses go from unknown to everybody knows who they are. So if you are ready to start being known for who you are, if you're ready to start learning how to be visible in your business, time to contact me. Let's have a chat. Let's get visible.